one of the first plants that we started to seed back in April, and it's actually little cherry tomatoes. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to ask you to pop this in your mouth and tell me what you experience, okay?
That's very good.
The Galleria was a property built in 1987, and gosh, if I have to come up with the total spaces it had, it was one of the elite places to shop in the city of Cleveland, owned by the Jacobs Group. And we had every first in retail. And unfortunately, in 2002, we started to lose some of those firsts because they started building outside of the city. And in package deals, you start to lose those big guys. And so the city started losing its retail. And the building, as that retail left, started to repurpose itself. And my job, I feel, has been to recreate the space, find value in what we have in our space, and figure out what to do with it. So as we go forward with filling our space, was last year that I looked up at the glass and said, you know what, we're a big greenhouse. Why aren't we growing food? Because I think that the element of urban agriculture was becoming very apparent, that it was a very important mission for our city. And so that's when I started looking at the glass and thought, why shouldn't we be doing some growing here? I had read an article in Urban Land about vertical growing, and it emulated our food court windows. It was exactly the same window space. And so I started looking into that. Now, how nice is that? It's a beautiful cucumber. And when I decided to create the vertical system here, I thought, all right, why not get some gutters? And we bought just home gutters and installed them on the wall. I wanted to have them on an angle because I wanted to make sure that they wouldn't be buried. They'd get good, nice light. And we positioned this wall out in the courtyard so that it could receive the light it needed. And it does. It does really well. 90% of the material, items, paint, fixturing in this space has been recreated, reused, recycled. This was a wall that was in one of our galleries that was upstairs that was used to show art. So when they closed years and years ago, we actually cut the wall in half because I wanted the wall to be down here. And we cut it in half, brought it down the stairway, reconstructed it. It was used to show art for many years. I saw this wall as an opportunity to show vertical growing. What we're doing with Arcadia Green Glass House actually is having a greenhouse installed for our fall and winter months, and it'll actually carry us over into the following year so that we can kind of talk about how you do need to control the conditions, your growing conditions, if you're going to have an optimal yield. And what we're also going to hope to demonstrate is solar energy and renewable energy. We're going to have, hope to have a tracking device set up in here with some solar panels that will operate the glass house and operate the hydroponics. We may, in the winter months, decide that we bring some grow lights in just to help aid Cleveland's darkest days. The glass house will enable us to control those environmental changes that occur in our building when we turn it off on a weekend. This space used to be owned by American Greetings Grants, and so it was a card, candy, and gift shop. And what we decided to do with this space was turn it into our resource center, and to make it sustainable, we have to have a certain amount of retail in order to sell and create some income. So we decided to utilize some recyclable gifts and contacted some of the artists in our community, which we have a huge base, very talented group of people in Cleveland. And we'll have everything from This is from the Blue Bag, where Debbie Cowden makes out of repurposed wine bottles. She shrinks them down and makes plates and trays and actually keeps the cork on it. So this is one of the products we'll carry. This is a great watershed. It's actual watershed. But it's going to be our demonstration of native fish in the area. And we've got a gentleman who's very knowledgeable about this, and we're fortunate enough to go down to Hocking Hills and out of the Nature Center pull his display that will actually have aquariums set up. There's 3 of them that will have native fish, and we also have a lot of his boards here, and all of the notches in the center here have places that we'll be putting pictures and information about the fish in the area. Some of it will be fish that are just in our rivers. Some of them will be based on the fish that we eat. And so it all kind of is a message that everything in this room eventually kind of comes around to our water source and what happens with fertilizers and everything that goes into our rivers and our storm waters, and what eventually then affects our food, people that eat fish. So this was an area of Erie View Tower that had some nice plantings going on, but really not a whole lot, and wasn't being maintained. So we decided to utilize this beautiful strip of God's sun to help our growing with our herbs. So we've got some basil in the back there, and that's all harvested once a week to support Stone Oven's product that they do with basil. And we've got tarragon, we've got thyme, we've got golden sage, we have oregano. And what we plan to do is repot some of this and bring it inside when we start losing our month of growing. And some of it will be perennial and it'll come back next year. So it's really been a nice opportunity for us, and I think a good message for the city. I think that people appreciate seeing the beauty of the herbs. They love to come by. I see people smelling them, and it's just a beautiful thing to see in the middle of our city. People are now identifying the fact that we need to grow in our city. This used to be a huge agricultural town, and we need to support that growth and go forward in providing food locally for the people in the city. So I think projects like this, you're going to see more and more and more come up year by year. I think it's a huge positive movement that is worth seeing, definitely worth seeing, and very, I'm not going to say easy to do, but certainly rewarding.